this a very nasty term, unethical term. You have, for example, with Stalinist communists, even more in this case with Nazis, this especially perverse logic, which is that the greatest heroism, when tough things have to be done, you kill, you torture, and so on, that every idiot can be good. The greatest heroism is to do the necessary, tough, cruel thing to protect the innocence of the others. If you look at one of the most disgusting ethical documents, but it's still an ethical document, in the sense that, crazy as it sounds, it tries to articulate the ethics of 20th century, the famous speech in 43 October, 43, I think, of Heinrich Himmler, SS, head, to officers for the preparation of Holocaust in Posen, Polish city. He there uttered these famous phrases, claiming that Holocaust will be the most glorious chapter of German history, but the chapter which unfortunately will never be written. That is to say, the message is, we are the true heroes. It's a terrible message. The message is, you are in front of, I mean, in a way, Himmler, that's the horror of it, was bothered by a true ethical problem, which is, how could SS officers and soldiers do their dirty job, slaughtering, killing children, women, without becoming beasts themselves? His solution was this kind of a heroism, that you perceive your very evil acts as the supreme act of heroism, ready to descend into this hell for the good of the people. It's a terrifying logic. So, since unfortunately time is running, let me go on. This delicate relationship between what we believe and what we know, or rather, what we explicitly know and these disavowed beliefs, they are at work in a very refined way in our daily experience. Often, you believe in something, you can even believe sincerely, but nonetheless, it's a great shock and surprise if you see your belief confirmed directly in a too brutal way. Did you see the film? Isn't there? I was told that tomorrow there will be here a play by Steve Martin. Somewhere. Okay, doesn't matter. Perform. The point is that he acts in a film, Leap of Faith from '92, maybe you saw it, which is one film about a con artist, this preacher who cheats, he heals cripples, but it's all a stage. Then once, he does something which he thinks it's cheating, but it's a true miracle. He totally breaks down. It's a shock. So things are here much more refined in the sense that, what does it mean to believe? Often, people who believe with a distance. I often notice how religious people often pray and obey the ritual, not as Pascal thought, in order to really believe. You know that advice of Blaise Pascal to unbelievers who want to believe. You don't believe? Here it is what you should do. Simply act as if you believe. Obey the ritual, kneel down, pray, do good works, and belief will come by itself. I claim, unfortunately, that often it's the exact opposite. It's that, what if you really believe, but in a too intense way? It's horrible directly to believe. Then maybe the solution is, do as if you believe, and your belief will be externalized in the ritual out there. You no longer will directly have to believe. Now, let's move to more problematic topic. This gap between what we rationally know and what we unconsciously believe tells us, I claim, a lot about our predicament, namely how we relate usually to the prospect of ecological catastrophe. This is a paradox. Basically, we know catastrophe is coming, there will be global warming, whatever, but why don't we act? Why don't we do something? I don't think it's enough this simple leftist explanation, yes, big companies, manipulation, whatever. I claim we know, but we don't believe. That is to say, imagine yourself reading a report on global warming, horrible, this, that, but then you go out, you see sun, trees, grass, my God, you say, but this cannot really disappear. That's the tragedy, that what prevents us from taking seriously the prospect of ecological catastrophe, it's precisely this our direct immersion into our life world. These are beliefs which are part of the way we act in reality, and it's extremely difficult to renounce them. There is a very important theoretical consequence to be drawn from this, paradoxical one. You know the usual criticism of ecological, why we are in ecological deadlock. The idea is the following one. We trust too much science, abstract scientific reasoning. We should not forget that science is secondary. It's alienated secondary product of our primordial attitude, which is our being embedded in a concrete life world. You see, you feel, you sense with the earth where you live, and so on. But I claim that that's not enough. We cannot return to this immediate life world experience, because this exactly is the problem. If we are to confront properly, I claim, ecological catastrophe, we have to confront, we have to outgrow precisely this direct embeddedness. Now, let's go on. I hope it will be a little bit more amusing what I say now. Namely, how then do we relate towards this? Where do we detect this gap in our beliefs or knowledge, this inconsistency? I know it's true, but nonetheless I don't believe it. Let me make a simple observation. Did you notice how every normative order, in the sense of rules that we obey, in order to be members of certain collective, from family to whenever you want, is never a simple set of rules, then you learn them, you are in. What's so interesting is that there are never simply only rules. There are always rules and then meta-rules. That is to say, rules which tell you how to relate to these rules, to take them seriously or not, how seriously. For example, it's often that there is a prohibition. You shouldn't do it. But we all know that it usually means, in many cases, do it discreetly, or sometimes it's even, especially with some kind of sexual prohibitions, it's even a direct solicitation, do it or whatever. So then can be prohibitions which are not meant to be taken seriously. If you take them seriously, you appear an idiot, how should I put it? Like, you are here a little bit different, you take your state seriously. For example, this is my legacy from the socialist regime in my country, no? Like, if I try not to pay taxes to find a loophole, and if somebody tells me, how can you, we have to pay taxes all. I mean, the guy is an idiot. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay. But there is something much more interesting here, the opposite paradox. The paradox of, not of prohibition, which between the lines tells you, do it discreetly, whatever, but do it, but an offer of freedom. You are permitted something, but on condition that you don't use this option. As if you can do it, you are given the freedom to do it on condition that you will not do it. I mean, again, there are, especially, for example, in different political regimes, you have freedom to choose on condition that you make the right choice, how should I put it, no? Or even in our daily lives. For example, recently a friend from Japan told me, do you know that in Japan, workers have the right to 40 days holiday every year? But you are expected not to use this right in its full extent. The implicit rule is not more than 20 days. Then I asked them, okay, but then don't you simply write 20 days? He told me, you are an idiot, you don't get it. And he was right, I didn't get it. Why not? It's the same as, do you know, this is always what fascinated me, because I think this is communication between people at its most mysterious. and elementary. These empty gestures. You are offered something, but you shouldn't use it. For example, all of you probably were already in this situation. You were invited by somebody older, richer, to dinner. Now, you knew it was absolutely clear in advance that he will pay. But isn't it kind of a ritual of politeness that you have to insist for some time, no, no, let me pay. Just don't do, by the way, what I did. Once I insisted too long, and then the guy said, if you want, do it. Then I have to stage all this comedy of, oh my God, I forgot my credit card or whatever. No? But there are other beautiful examples. For example, she is my friend, although we fight all the time theoretically. Personally, she's my friend, Judith Butler. Recently, I met her in Switzerland, and I was not too rude to her, but I used some degenerate creep, whatever. I mean, I'm horrible when I eat. So I saw that I did hurt her. So I felt bad. Afterwards, I phoned her. I called her. I told her, sorry, blah, blah. And then she told me, thanks, I appreciate it, but really, I wasn't offended. I knew you didn't mean it. You owe me no apology. She was absolutely sincere. And I was really grateful. But you see, the paradox is that it was possible for her to say, you owe me no apology, only after I did apologize. And this is not hypocrisy. That's the mystery of communication. You do something, the result is nothing. You do something which is declared superfluous. But in order to be declared superfluous, you have to do it. This is how, now you will say, what's the profit? The profit is respect, friendship, love, communication, true communication between us. I don't know, my favorite example even here is, we have this ritual in my country. Let us say that I and a friend of mine compete for the same job. Let us say he wins, I lose. It's a ritual in my country that then the winner should say to the loser, listen, I know that you deserved it more. Why don't I step down and you will get the job? But of course, you have to say, no, 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 you can have it. What's the profit? Usually the friendship is saved in this way, frankly. No? So what I'm saying here is that the most delicate texture of our human relations